Hey everyone, welcome to another limited color palette video. So today we are going to explore the high key limited color palette. For this palette we have Aerolink Cobalt Yellow. This color or this paint is not light fast, so this yellow can actually fade into a dull yellow or a brown. But since I'm using this on a sketchbook or in a sketchbook, it shouldn't matter too much. Rose Madder Permanent. This is a mix of PR209 and PR202. The original Rose Madder Genuine is not light fast, so this is the light fast alternative, and this is Cobalt Blue PB28, and all these are from Daniel Smith. So today we are going to paint this sketch using these three colors. By the way, this sketch was created for a sketching tutorial for my patrons. If you want to learn how you can draw something like this, you can consider supporting me on Patreon, and there you will have access to all the sketching tutorials I have made over the last few years for my patrons. Supporting me on Patreon is the most direct way to support my YouTube channel, because making art videos like this actually don't make money on YouTube. I get like $1 for every 1,000 views. Aerolin is a yellow that I don't really like because it's muted. It doesn't look that vibrant and it's not light fast. A high key palette, by the way, is a palette with light and mid values. So with light and mid values, it's difficult to achieve contrast, and also the colors may not look as vibrant compared to those high tinting colors like phthalo or quinacridons. So the tinting strength of these three colors is actually quite low, which means you have to use a lot of paint in order to get the intensity. So that's Cobalt Blue, and this is Cobalt Blue mixed with Aerolin Cobalt Yellow. And we have Cobalt Blue mixed with Rose Madder Permanent here. Perhaps I have too much blue there. And this is the gray you can mix. This is the darkest color I can get by mixing the three in concentration. So you can see the colors here, they are not as vibrant compared to those quinacridon, pyros, and phthalo colors. Right, let's see what we can get with this palette. So this sketch was painted with sketch ink, which is pigmented ink that is waterproof when dry. So I'm just wetting the sky here, and hopefully the ink has really dried. So first, let's put some cobalt into the sky and maybe add some rose madder to make the sky look more interesting. So next up, I want to paint with Aerolin Cobalt Yellow. Let's paint the trees here in yellow, and we'll add the blue later on. We can have yellow here as well because this is a green window. And we have orange here. So I'm just going to paint like really quickly. On this side here, this is orange. So let's have permanent rose madder with Aerolin. We have some orange here as well. This orange is not the orange that I like. The orange that I usually paint with is actually the warm orange, transparent pale orange, or any yellow mixed with a warm red. We have some green here. Too much paint. I'm actually not following the colors of from the reference photo that I'm using. Some brown. This is Aerolin with rose madder. So now I'm going to paint the shadows. So this is a mix of the three colors. Oops, too much water. I just paint cover this whole area here. We have the shadow here. This building here is also in shadow. Part of it actually. The thing with paint with low tinting strength is you have to use a lot of paint in order to get the intensity, and this makes you use up the paint rather quickly. If you want your paint to last, you can buy those paint with like high tinting strength, like the phthalo blue, for example, instead of cobalt blue. So I'm trying to paint the shadows beneath the shop houses. It's not easy to paint or mix a dark color with this palette. The blacks will never be completely black. Even if you use a lot of paint, the black will not be completely black. You can paint layers upon layers, but you will still not get that dark value black. I find it quite challenging to paint with this limited color palette because, I mean, personally for me, I like strong contrast. I like vibrant colors. So with this palette, you have to force yourself to paint with a more muted look, and it's just not the look that I like. This is the darkest I can get this to be. Let's make this part here much darker. That is a lot of phthalo blue. We need this to be darker as well. And when I use a lot of paint, the thickness, I mean, you can feel the thickness of the paint as you paint on the paper. I'm not good with this limited palette, so you may have to search online to see the true potential of this palette. I just feel weird painting with this palette. Putting some finishing touches. So this is the completed sketch. It's not too bad, except the colors here definitely are not as vibrant compared to the usual color palettes that I use, that I prefer. So if you take a look here, you can see the orange, they are more vibrant. Also the blues, more vibrant, but here the orange are definitely more muted. And the greens, you can see they are more muted compared to the greens here. So this is yellow-green, whereas this is rather muted green, and all the green here are rather muted as well. It's also very difficult to mix black, no matter how much paint you use. When you paint over areas that are supposed to be black, when you paint over the line art, when it dries, the paint will become lighter and you will still see the line art very obviously. So earlier when I painted the shadow here, this was really dark, but now when it's dry, you can see the line art very clearly. So maybe perhaps this could be a good palette for those who want to show off your line art. Alright, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this palette. Do you use any of the colors I use, like a PY40, Rose Madder Permanent, or Cobalt Blue? These are actually 3 colors I don't use that often. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Do check out my other limited color palette videos as well. I have the link to where you can find them in the video description below.